Hey listeners, you're listening to the Midnight Readers podcast. Grab some tea, a midnight snack, and cuddle up in bed as we dive deep into today's most popular fantasies, sci-fi, and mysteries. We're your hosts. I'm Lily.
I'm Brittany.
And I'm Christy.
This season we'll be discussing the cultural phenomenon that influenced the entertainment industry for generations with its cult following. That's right, hold on tight, Spider Monkey, we're headed to Forks.
When you can live forever, what do you live for? This podcast. You live for this podcast. Also, maybe the vampire who takes a shine to an innocent girl. Sparkle High begins now. Let's go.
In this episode, we'll be discussing Book 1, Twilight, chapters 1 through 6, where Bella moves to Forks, Washington, only to become infatuated with the most inhumanly beautiful man she's ever seen. And so, the lion began hunting the lamb.
Before we get into it, this is your warning for major spoilers ahead. This includes potentially all Twilight materials, including the movies, interviews, and companion books. We're also avid fans of the Moss universe and might accidentally let spoilers slip for other popular romantasy book series as well. Sorry in advance, like the other seasons, this podcast is rated R, so be warned.
Also, a friendly reminder to please like, subscribe, and follow. You can find us on Instagram, Threads, Facebook, and YouTube. You can also join our growing community on Patreon for bonus content and more.
Okay, so just a little disclaimer before we get started. I do want to address to any major Twilight fans who may be listening. I see you, I hear you, I know you're out there. I am not a super fan like many people are, and I know we're going to get some things wrong, so just please be patient with us, and we would love to hear your input if you hear something that you want to comment on. Also, we just want to talk about the fact that we will be discussing religion as it pertains to the books, so please be aware of that. Our opinions are our own, and we are not entering this conversation to bully others, just rather discussing our own experiences and highlighting problematic things from the book. All right, so the first book in the Twilight series opens with, surprisingly, a Bible quote and a short preface to set the mood. So Stephanie Meyer actually quotes the scene from the Garden of Eden and then begins the preface from Bella's perspective on how she has never really thought about her death. In the dream, Bella faces a lion who is hunting her, which this kind of mirrors Stephanie Meyer's dream that she claims inspires the whole series. What did you guys think about this opening?
As far as the quote goes, I was very, the quote is, "But of the tree of knowledge of good and evil, thou shalt not eat of it. For in the day that thou eatest thereof, thou shalt surely die." Genesis 2:17. And you can see throughout this entire book, there's all these Garden of Eden symbolism. And you've got the cover of the book, which many people think the forbidden fruit was an apple. There's something she says later where she's like, he doesn't even know me from Eve. Yeah. And I was just like, but I also had thoughts about, I know that their desire or whatever is supposed to be the forbidden fruit that they eat of, and then she dies. But it also made me think of,
and then she dies.
Yeah. In the Mean Girls movie, didn't that coach say you have sex and then you die, right? I forget his name.
Exactly.
But the vampires, I'm assuming in general, they tend to represent evil. So I'm confused.
I feel like in general, in normal stereotype, vampires are supposed to represent an evil force. Like, they're not supposed to be of God. Obviously, we have you can get back with the cross. Like, that's a very classic anti-vampire thing.
Yeah.
Get back.
Get back. Like, I could not figure out how to say it. But
dance move.
I think it's interesting because Stephanie Meyer, who we know is deeply religious, seems to frame her vampires as not that evil. In fact, Edward Cullen is everything that a man should be.
Only the vegetarian vampires.
And by a man should be, I mean that, in quotes, not like actually.
Yeah.
But yeah, because I thought you had said that she made them good. Like she wanted her vampires to be good. And that was one issue I think I had with it. So to her, a good is an outside force and not an internal, because they are rich, they're beautiful, there's very, 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 very
white
small peg thing.
They're sparklingly white, actually. So white they sparkle, which, yeah, the way she reforms her whole books to make sure that they can sparkle is insane, by the way.
Yeah.
But we'll get into that.
As far as the preface goes, this is just a writing little thing of mine, and people can disagree with me. I don't care. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure like a preface is something that is outside of the story that adds to it. Like you're telling, say you write a book on a historical romance book and you're going to preface it with a little bit about the time period that it's set in. It's just additional information. What this is a prologue. It is part of the story.
Yeah.
And it just, my writing degree made me say that. So moving on.
It's just like, well, that's a perfect way to get into the first chapter, because the second that I picked up the book, I was like, wow, this is really a step back from Rebecca Yarros. I don't know if it's because it's so YA or if it's just Stephanie Meyer is just not nearly the writer.
Yes, I think that's the case.
There's so
she
many
also talked about how quickly
issues.
she wrote it.
Yeah.
So I think that has something to do too, because look how long it takes Rebecca Yarros to write.
Yeah, well, I mean, there are some quick writers out there.
It's kind of stepping on the point.
But also, this is a book that she meant to publish, and by publish, I mean print out on her printer and give to her friends and family. And then it got published for the rest of the world to see, but there's so many writing problems with it, that the adverb usage, the telling and not showing thing, it drives me a little crazy, especially with all these wonderfully written books that we've been reading. Not that, Zodiac Academy is wonderfully written, but, we read other books.
We do read other books.
She makes you get those, like, into those characters enough that you and I were at it for like episodes.
True. Yeah.
There's some level of writing there that makes you respond.
That's true.
But I'm curious though, because when these first came out, people were like Twinuts and Twihards and all that kind of thing, and like super into it. But I'm really curious for those same people, if they are still into it, if they are still that crazy about it.
I do think they are.
It is actually interesting because it is the people who were crazy about it when they read it when it first came out that are actually pointing out the toxicness of this book now. I mean, a book can be toxic and you can still love it, but
again, we read Zodiac Academy. But I think the people, I mean, at least it seems to be with the new Twilight renaissance. I feel like Twilight in the last few years has really come back into the spotlight. And I think the people that used to love it are still at the forefront talking about it just as much as they used to be. I mean, my good friend Nora has always been a Twilight fan and continues to make it a part of her life. So I definitely think they are still first and foremost the biggest fans. But I think that now, as some of us, grew up with it and now we're adults and we read it in a different light and we have learned things, and also the release of Midnight Sun really made everyone do a double take. I think a lot of people have a lot of different opinions about it, but we still love it.
Yeah. And something that Sarah Elizabeth, obviously she's known on...
Sarah Elizabeth Gallagher?
Yeah, she's known on Instagram and TikTok and YouTube and whatnot about being a really big Twilight fan. And she said that Twilight tends to find you when you're at your lowest. And I was like, you know what?
It found me at my lowest. I was in middle school, motherfucker. That was the lowest point in my life.
If you keep pointing out how fucking young you were.
It's a part of my story.
Some of us were full-fledged adults into old people town.
It's not about you. It's about the fact that I was literally going through the worst part of my life when I read this. Like, that is just relevant. I was a depressed tween when I read this, and that's why Bella's character to me was perfect. She got it. I could see why someone would read it and be like, I don't understand, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, so we've discussed a little bit about how the book is, you know, but you know what? It's easy to read.
It is easy to read.
Breath of fresh air.
You know.
And again, it came out after Harry Potter had just finished, and people, they wanted something else to connect to that had, you know, longevity. That it wasn't just one book, that it was a series. So.
Yeah, and I feel like Bella as a character is so relatable. Like, we start this book with her moving to a new city. You know, she's in high school. Her parents are divorced. Her parents kind of suck. Oh, she is depressed.
Her mom is like, no teenage daughter really thinks of their mom as their best friend. You may think that as an adult, but you know, teenager mom as a teenager thinks of their mom as their best friend unless they're acting like a child.
Yeah, I think that it's her relationship with her mom is a big problem that we're going to have to continuously discuss. As someone who had a mom that was also wanted to be my best friend at a young age, it is, in the moment, you don't realize it as a problem as a teenager.
Bella is the parent. She is not the child.
And we see at the first section, she's like helping her mom, consoling her for the fact that she's leaving Forks.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she ends up going to Forks, Washington, and she admits to herself that she's doing it on behalf of her mom. But she gets there and she kind of like cries herself to sleep all night. But her dad has bought her the iconic red truck.
Yes.
I don't know about y'all, but I really wanted that fucking truck.
My first vehicle when I learned to drive was a 97, I think, Toyota Tacoma. And so by the time I was done with that, I never wanted to drive a truck again. My first car was a car. I wanted a car.
Very nice. She actually ends up loving it, though. She's like shocked how much she likes it, which I think is great.
It was a nice, reliable vehicle. It was my dad's before it came to me. It lasted until 2020. So, you know, decent vehicle. I wanted something else. Smaller. Yeah. Because you have to make sure when you're driving a truck, it's like you're taking up a big part of the road.
Yeah. I mean, well, to her credit, from the beginning, she thought she was going to have to buy herself a car. Sure. And then she saw that Charlie bought it for her, and it was probably like a big surprise. She was like, oh, that's kind of nice to have a parent that does parent things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a question about Renee, and I guess Bella a little bit. But she literally meets Charlie for like a couple of weeks, marries him, has a baby, and then leaves him.
Like mother, like daughter.
Yeah. Leaves him because she misses the sun. And Bella bitches the entire time while she's in Forks because, oh, woe is me, the sun is gone.
And yet, we know how this ends.
She marries a vampire. Now, my mom always made fun of me. She called me a vampire my whole life because if there's a window open, I want to close it. I bought blackout curtains because I can't even sleep if there's even the tiniest hint of light in my room. I am a night owl. I naturally feel better at night and more awake, but I just don't get the obsession with the sun.
Yeah.
It's bright. I mean, it causes migraines. It's hot. And I love the rain.
I love the rain, but I also like the sun. Like, I think I'd rather have the rain, personally. It doesn't bother me when I have rain day after day, like it bothers some people, but I would understand if you had it every single day. It'd be like, okay, where's the sun?
Meh. Sounds like Haven to me. Although I don't want to live in Forks.
Well, it'd be cold rain too there. So that's also like I love warm rain, but not
which
cold,
is all we
not
get.
cold rain. That's yeah.
I feel like in the deep south, you're like, we forget that cold rain is a thing, which actually happens to Bella in this section. It rains and then freezes over.
Oh
yeah,
no.
Yeah, I wouldn't want.
I hate cold.
I wouldn't want the ice or the cold, really. Although I just said we're in the middle of an extreme heat wave here, and I was like, I miss winter. Our winter is like, it might get down to 40. But I am fascinated with snow because we never get it. I mean, we got it like twice, but I know, Christy, you hate snow, but I just, I wouldn't mind some snow once a year.
For the novelty of it, I'll take it once a year, you know?
No, I'm good, but no.
Well, speaking of snow, it kind of snows that first week that Bella's there. She finally goes to Forks High School for the first time, where we meet all of the main characters.
Who the fuck is Eric?
On January 18th, I feel like I need to point out, this is January 18th.
Yes. It's hilarious to me that you were like in the notes the whole time, Christy. You were like, who the fuck is Eric?
I do not remember him.
I remember him.
He's apparently the only Asian kid at this school.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, in the movies, he's played by, I can't remember his name. I love the actor, though. He's in other like Disney movies and stuff.
How did
Someone listening is probably screaming at me right now, his actor name, his real name. But it's the first time we meet Eric, we meet Jessica. Unfortunately, we meet Mike.
Lauren.
We meet Lauren, although Lauren is not as active in the book as Jessica, I guess. Angela. Who else? Am I forgetting anybody?
Now, I have to say I love Jessica simply because she's played by Anna Kendrick. And that's who I see in the part. Therefore, I cannot see anything as like me.
Eric
Middle school me hated her.
Eric was played by Justin Chon. I'm not going to mispronounce that. I know I will.
Chon?
Yeah.
I don't know how to say that either. But younger me didn't like Jessica, but I think older me understands that she's literally just a high school girl, like a normal girl.
Yeah.
But she finally gets a view of these 7 curious strangers. And I'm going to read from the book a little bit.
There's only 5 of them at the school.
Conversation with 7. It says, I was sitting there in the lunchroom trying to make conversation with 7 curious strangers.
Oh, I thought
she's talking about
I thought you meant the Cullens. I was like, there's only 5 of them.
But so she sees the Cullens from afar and she's like, oh my God, who are those people? To Jessica. And Jessica kind of explains that they are this rich, weird, adopted family. And so we get our first description of who all of them are. Emmett, one was big, muscled, like a serious weightlifter with dark, curly hair, which, by the way, Cullen, who plays him in the movie, is perfect for him, in my opinion, even though he doesn't have the dark, curly hair.
Emmett's a bear.
Yeah, he's just a big bear. Ironic, because he was almost killed by one. Jasper, he's taller, leaner, but still muscular with honey blonde hair.
Ugh.
Edward he was lanky, less bulky, with untidy, bronze-colored hair, but more boyish than the others, which I thought was interesting, considering who she wanted to cast for the Edward part.
I also have a question. It could be wrong, because the only thing I really know about it is from other vampire books, but weren't people in the past aging more rapidly than we are? So what we think of as a 17-year-old boy look might have been like a 25-year-old, 35-year-old man back then.
Maybe. I think that probably depended on how you grew up. If you were Emmett, who was always working outside in the sun, you probably look a lot older. But Edward, we don't really know his home life, so who knows? But Rosalie was tall and statuesque. She had a beautiful figure, the kind that you saw on the cover of Sports Illustrated. This is right out of the book. It made every girl around her take a hit to her self-esteem for being in the same room. Her hair was golden, gently waving in the middle of her back. I don't like that Stephenie Meyer has a problem with beautiful women. Alice, the short girl, was pixie-like, thin in the extreme with small features. Her hair was a deep black, cropped short, and pointing in every direction. And yet, she says, they were all very similar. Chalky skin, dark eyes, and they all looked perfect in some way. Angular, straight, and of course, white. White. They were all white.
All corpse white.
Importantly, that they were white, according to Stephenie Meyer. So, these are our beautiful Cullens. What is everyone's feelings about this?
So, is it just me that feels like that there are red flags going up all over the place with this beautiful young couple that takes in all of these beautiful people and adopts them when they are pretty much, I don't know,
the same age?
It's so weird. Yeah. It's so weird. It's just, why did they have to be related to each other by adoption? Why couldn't they be friends? Like, why do they all have to be in a family? I had so many questions. Also, I forgot that Jasper and Rosalie are supposed to be, quote unquote, twins.
Twins.
Totally forgot that because they don't highlight it in the movies.
And Jasper and Alice are together, correct?
Yeah, and Emmett and Rosalie are together too.
Yeah, and the school knows, so it's not like it's some big secret. If this happened, it would still be the talk of the town. Even 2 years later, they would be shamed. You don't date even your foster brother.
Okay, maybe they probably would overlook it in Utah.
Wow. Wow.
Just saying it,
It's got dark real fast.
But and I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with it because they are not biologically related. But right. I am saying socially, it is a societal thing that you should not date somebody you grew up believing to be your sister or your brother.
Yeah, I mean, most people probably agree at this point. Everyone has seen Twilight, right? They know of it. That this is weird. It's one of the weirdest parts of the story. They don't have to be like that. And Carlisle is young.
And why do they have to go to school?
For real.
Yeah, so I feel like this is one of the weird parts that she has to write so many things into the story to make this all plausible. And part of it is that the Cullens have to start over after a while and go to school so that they can be normal, right? But in my mind, why can't you just fake a degree and be out of school?
My thing is, in Midnight Sun, he says that they start off in school and then they graduate and they are allowed to stay in a single place 6 to 7 years. I'm sorry, but my face hasn't really changed in the last 10 or more. So why it needs to be 6 to 7 years? Why can't you stay longer? People don't, especially when they see you every day, they don't notice that you're not changing unless it's 50 years from now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, if they did that, I did the calculations and they would have to have 12 to 15 places to live just based on if they stayed one place 6 to 7 years. And then they had to move, and they weren't allowed to come back until all those people were dead.
Yep. This is the problem with this story. There is nothing thought out about it, but we still love them, regardless. So Bella moves in. She goes to Forks on the first day. She's realizing she's kind of sticking out like a sore thumb because she's the new girl in a really tiny high school. Mike already has a crush on her. Eric already has a crush on her.
Tyler.
Seems to, yeah. And Edward is totally not interested this first day. He's just like, oh, a new girl. He realizes, though, that he cannot hear her thoughts. And that is where his interest starts to change, I think.
I have one last thing to say about them as a whole, but it goes with when he realizes that he can't talk. And he's like having this mental conversation with Alice as well. And instead of just answering her, he's like looking up and down to say yes, looking around to say no. And I'm just like, these people are supposed to be acting like humans. Teenage humans.
You think they would be used to it by now?
That was my thing too, Brittany, that they're all old enough. They've been around long enough. This should be seamless. And it seemed so plain that there was something different and wrong with them. I mean, like they were holding a sign saying, "Hi, I'm a vampire."
They're literally sitting in the cafeteria with food in front of them, which they are wasting. Which
they are wasting. Yes.
and they're not even talking to each other. They're just staring at the wall. And there was this thing in middle school that we had silent lunches, which were a punishment, but it was generally the whole class.
That'd be nice.
And you weren't allowed to speak at lunch. But again, that was the whole class. And these are perfect A, never get in trouble students. And not only that, but so I didn't always like the lunch. So I just didn't eat that day. And even then, people commented on the fact that I didn't eat that day.
Yeah, I think at this point, these people are so used to them being freaks. They're like, whatever, it's the Cullens. Don't even look at them. They're weirdos.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
they are wasting that food.
Yes.
They are.
I actually said the same thing. I was like, are you kidding me? People are starving.
And Edward manages to make some comment about finite resources, about the car. I was like, oh!
Edward is actually, the audacity on that man from the get-go. From the get-go, he is causing problems. He is gaslighting, gatekeeping, girlbossing his way through everything.
Right.
He is
Correct.
So full of it.
Fucking lighting.
He's
100%.
like the king of gaslighting.
Yeah, like they have that first biology session together, and he looks like he wants to kill himself. And
kill her.
No. He looks like he wants to poop.
In the movie,
that's what he looks like.
Constipated. It has been 0 days. It's been 0 days. But he looks like he wants to kill her, and she's like, I don't really understand what is up with this guy.
What did I do?
Meanwhile, if you've read Midnight Sun, he's actually planning to kill the entire room.
Several ways.
To drink her blood.
Several ways.
Like, this is why I say that if you've read Midnight Sun, if you were ever, like, super obsessed with Edward, which a lot of people were, from all ages, and then you read Midnight Sun, his perspective of it really brings you back down. Like, oh, this guy is, a psycho.
Yeah. He was like, well, I can't kill her first because then I can't enjoy it.
Yeah.
So I have to kill everybody else, but then she might scream,
like,
and then I have to kill more people.
And then he was like, but if I kill all 20 students and the teacher first, her blood won't be warm anymore by that point. If I kill her first and then come back, like...
Yeah. And then when they're in the office, he's like, well, now I only have to kill 2.
And then he realizes it's a problem, and he's like, okay, I know I shouldn't be doing this, so maybe I should just leave. And this is the chivalrous man that everyone fell in love with.
Such a gentleman. Such a gentleman.
He is old enough that he should be at this point able to control himself around her. It doesn't...
This is somewhat explained in the illustrated and other guides that her blood sings to him. So not every vampire experiences this, but they may experience it on occasion where one particular person smells particularly good to a vampire. And so Bella's blood sings to him. So in this case, it's supposed to be he cannot control himself around specifically her.
In Midnight Sun, I do believe they have a scene where they're like, she smells really good to the others as well. Just not as good to Edward.
But they can control themselves.
As Edward.
He could get up and go to the bathroom.
They don't
car and play CDs.
They don't pee.
He could protect.
They don't have any bodily fluids except for venom.
And sperm.
Apparently sperm. We'll talk about that at another time.
Oh, yeah. Is it sparkle sperm?
Oh, my God.
Oh,
Sparkle
man.
sperm.
Does Renesmee sparkle?
But see, now it makes me think, like, for now, his sparkle sperm makes me think of that Jenny from the Block song. These rocks that I got. Sorry.
I'm just Edward from the Block.
Oh, my God.
So, okay, back to our story. So Mike begins sticking to Bella like glue. She compares him to a dog quite often.
Which, I wonder, is this where the golden retriever trope came from?
Not a bad thought. I mean, I don't know if this is necessarily the book, but it's not a bad guess.
Because people, that is a popular trope, and people like it.
Yeah.
I want to slap Mike.
He is annoying. Yeah, he's a little annoying. But yeah, he starts sticking to her like glue. He follows her around. She gets real tired of it. Bella starts cooking dinner for Charlie every night, which is a different problem.
And doing the dishes. I thought that he should at least have done the dishes if she's going to do all the trouble of making dinner. And she's got homework to do.
And she doesn't need to be coming into the house going, oh my God, he hasn't eaten today. Like that, he's an adult. He's a grown man.
Mm-hmm.
You know? And then actually she talks to Charlie about the Cullens not long after she comes to see them. And he's like, yeah, I actually think Dr. Cullen is pretty great. Everyone gives them shit, but I think Carlisle is a great doctor and we need him around here, like waving his finger around, you know, kind of thing.
It's later implied on the beach that part of that is the tribe. They won't go to the hospital anymore.
Yep.
And that's why Charlie's all upset. But I'm sure he's also upset because the townspeople are gossiping.
And he's so close with the tribe that he's probably hearing it a lot from Billy's side. Like, no, we're not going to go. Yeah.
And any friends with Harry as well? Clearwater?
Yep. So the next Monday at lunch, Edward is again intrigued by Bella. And Bella is intrigued by Edward, but he is cordial to her in biology.
Well, first he disappears for like a week.
Yes.
And so he misses Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday of that.
Yes.
And then he takes off another Friday and the sunny days. And I'm like, how many absences does he get? Because
and they just get away with it.
When I was in school, I lived in a county that was under mandatory evacuation for Hurricane Floyd. And I went to school in another county, and that county wasn't under mandatory evacuation. So I got counted absent.
Oh my God.
And I then also had pink eye that year. And so I had to miss a lot of class. And I almost had to repeat that grade because I missed so much school.
It is almost implied that the Cullens are doing so well in class that it doesn't matter if they skip classes.
Literally, though, I had to work my butt off in order to not get kicked, like not have to repeat. And so I'm wondering, like, how did they get away with it?
I don't know. We see what Edward does to get out of things. After
he flirts with women who shouldn't be flirting back.
Exactly. So after he has this horrible interaction with Bella in the first biology class, he gets so fucking pissed that he's sitting next to her. He runs out and tries to switch his class out of the one with Bella. And the girl at the secretary's office is, basically telling him, like, is everything okay? And he's trying to charm her into changing him out of that section. And it nearly works. Like, he's almost able to do it. And he knows what he's doing. And he does it multiple times. He even does it to Bella later.
In Midnight Sun later, he's like, oh, when I flirt with her, her heartbeat goes up. And that means she's attracted to me. So maybe it means the same thing when Bella's heart goes up.
Yeah, it's because he's so fucking clueless when he can't hear somebody's fucking thoughts.
That still makes no sense. As a vampire, he should know that by now.
Agreed.
I don't know how emotions work.
Goofy.
So he finally introduces himself to her. He says, hello, in a quiet musical voice, whatever the fuck that means. And I remember my brain squealing the first time I read this. I was like, oh my God, they're talking. And and this is where we talked about how he had thought of killing her, but he makes an effort not to breathe in this scene so that he can have a conversation with her.
But he's got to breathe every time he talks. He's got to and he's breathing through his mouth. And I'm just like,
if you guys think about the logistics of this, it's so fucking stupid. But anyways, so they have a conversation. She realizes, okay, maybe he's not totally insane. They share the biology lab. He seems to get more and more intrigued about her, and she answers questions about her mom and tells him how she got there. So after this, she complains about all the snow and the rain and everything, and then the next morning, the rain freezes over and she has to drive to school in the sleet and all of the frozen ground. And she realizes that Charlie's put snow chains on her car without asking her or having to be asked.
And the fact that she's like, "Aw, that's so sweet."
She nearly tears up.
For him doing a parental thing just says so much about the parent that she has grown up with.
Yeah, that was my thing. In that email that she, with her mother, I think it was like the beginning of the chapter, did it feel to anybody else that the only reason she was actually emailing was to find out where the blouse was and not because she actually cared about... Okay.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I think, honestly, I do think that she was like, this is my best friend and I miss my best friend and, whatever about her being lonely, but I don't know if she reached out to her because she was genuinely worried that Bella might need to talk. She needed to talk.
Yeah.
Because she was lonely.
Well, what kills me is Renee messages her multiple times, like, where are you? Hello? Answer me. And it's like, bitch, she's at school. For real. She is at school. That is what she's doing, like a normal teen girl. Hold your horses. Anyways, so we have this beautiful interaction with her car. And she realizes Charlie is maybe a better parent in some ways than she thought. So she drives to school with her new snow chains. And she's very careful in the parking lot. She sees Edward. And then she's standing by her car when mass hysteria, a van comes flying at her.
I was like, okay, I understand fight, flight, or freeze. I understand it. But if you had the ability to think, I'm going to stand here and close my eyes, you have the ability to fucking try to move. Try. You won't make it because, as Edward points out, it's like Final Destination for Bella here.
But
she could have tried.
Love this scene because I picture Edward swinging her around by her legs of like, go over here. And it's like slamming her head into everything and throwing her.
Oh my God. Just like...
She's just a little rag doll.
Over the head.
I actually think Stephanie Meyer did a pretty decent job of writing this scene, considering the potential complexity of it.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna read the excerpt from the scene, which it is such an iconic scene. People either love that scene in biology, they love the blood typing scene, or they love this one. So we got to talk about at least one. So in the book, it says, 2 long white hands shot out protectively. She made sure to say they were white. Shot out protectively in front of me, and the van shattered to a stop a foot from my face, the large hands fitting providentially into a deep dent in the side of the van's body. Then his hands moved so fast they blurred. One was suddenly gripping under the body of the van, and someone was dragging me, swinging my legs around like a rag doll, till they hit the tire of the tan car. A metallic thud hurt my ears, and the van settled, glass popping, onto the asphalt, exactly where, a second ago, my legs had been. absolutely insane.
I love that people now make stickers, car stickers, to put on their dents of this scene.
Oh my God.
That is great. I didn't know people were doing that.
Me neither.
Oh my God.
Ugh,
Yeah. And Edward's response? Gaslight, Gatekeep, Girlboss.
Oh
Yeah.
my God.
I was standing right next to you, Bella. Thanks, bitch, but I would have known that. I didn't hit my head that hard. What I don't understand, I get that he gaslit her about the standing next to her. But she's like, how did you pick up that car? How did you stop it? Or whatever. And he doesn't even play the adrenaline card.
No.
I, as an 100-pound girl, went into a coma because of my diabetes. And whenever I come out of it, I always come out, in fight or flight mode, which me being me, always choose fight. Not that I, choose it, but that's where I go. And so, one time the firefighters are here and my dad's like, she's going to come out fighting, or would you like me to help you hold her down? And they took one look at me and they were like, there's 6 of us. We got this. And I came out swinging.
They were not ready.
They were not ready. And they had to ask my dad for help. And still, I was like pushing them off and fighting them off. And to the point where one of the firefighters came up to me and he sheepishly went, you look 20, but you're strong. I was like, yeah, thanks. And so the next time it happened, they said I developed such a reputation with the fire department that they sent a fat guy, his words, not mine, to sit on me.
Oh my God.
So, it's possible. The
adrenaline thing would have made sense.
Yeah.
Logically. But does he say that? No.
I think he wants her to know. I think he is a shit secret keeper. I think he is like, do you want to guess? What is it? I mean, it is.
If y'all could see Christy,
It's so funny. Oh my God. I also love that. Honestly, I do think, I don't know, maybe other Twilight fans feel this way as well. But for me, rereading it since years now, I forgot how different Bella is in the books. In the movie, she's annoying. In the books, I appreciate that she was just like, I'm not going to take your fucking answer at face value. She's like, no, I don't know what you're talking about. I just saw you over there, and now you're over here.
Well, in the movie, It was more about the lip biting and the glaring and staring.
The breathing.
The breathing
Yeah.
and
Sparkling.
Sparkling.
Right.
And, I mean, to be fair, I wish I listened to the audiobook. The narrator is way too peppy.
She really is.
She should sound a little bit more like Kristen Stewart's depressive Bella from the movie. Although her Edward is terrible. There's no change in...
Highly recommend just reading the book, not listening to it.
Girl and boy. Although the narrator from Midnight Sun isn't bad.
Yeah, he's good.
Too bad Midnight Sun is shit. But the narrator is not bad.
Too bad Midnight Sun is horrifying. Didn't finish reading it the first time I read it, and then I was like, okay, I gotta finish this at least once.
Yeah. Tip for everybody, if you read one chapter of Twilight and then one chapter of Midnight Sun, it's a little better.
It's more bearable. It is. But you know what's even crazier? This is the first night she dreams of Edward Cullen.
Yep.
She goes home from this event after she's pissed at him, and they have this conversation, and he completely refutes everything that she says, and they get her checked out under Dr. Cullen, Carlisle, who also kind of gaslights her. Edward literally is like, you hit your head really hard, and she's like, uh-huh.
And she's like,
and I'm fine.
The x-rays say that I'm good.
Yeah.
She's like, no, motherfucker, you hit my head really hard, swinging me around by my legs.
And then after that, she goes home even more infatuated with him than before. She's so intrigued by him, and she continues to dream of him from then on.
Real quick, in Midnight Sun, when he's describing what happened with the van,
Oh, yeah.
Edward says that he says this word that he's never said in front of a lady before. And I just went, what do you fucking mean, Edward? What fucking word are you fucking saying and that you can't say in front of a fucking lady? What the fuck?
You were like, what the fuck kind of word could it fucking be, Edward? I feel like for Edward, any word could be
damn,
scandalous. Shit. Yeah. But yeah, no, I just love that in his monologue the entire time, he's both pissed that he has to do this and also fascinated by Bella because he can't hear her thoughts. And I think at this point, after the van crash, both of them are simultaneously like so annoyed by each other, but also so enraptured with each other, to the point that Edward's having in Midnight Sun conversations with Alice and his siblings about what to do about Bella, because he's like,
oh yeah,
he's denying his feelings, and Alice is like, I think we're gonna be friends.
After this incident, they have a family meeting on whether or not they should all leave or stay or what happens.
Or kill her.
And Rosalie's like, no, she's dead. And Jasper's already decided. He's like, I don't care what you say. I don't care if Rosalie's gonna do it. The only thing that's gonna make me change my mind is that Alice is like, no, we're gonna be friends one day.
Yeah.
Okay, but just to clarify, all of that is from Midnight Sun and not Twilight.
Correct.
Yes.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We don't get to see any of that in Twilight.
I have not read Midnight Sun, so I was like, did I miss a chapter?
No, but the way Rosalie is just like, no, she deserves to die because we need to protect ourselves.
I honestly don't blame Rosalie too much, because if you had to move around every fucking 6 years and then all of a sudden Edward being stupid disrupted your life that you were happy with for once, like, I can't blame her too much.
But we also find out that the reason she was okay with killing Bella is because Edward likes her, and Edward wasn't impressed by her beauty, and she doesn't want...
I don't think
she doesn't want Edward. She just doesn't understand why he would choose this human over her.
No, that's Edward's perspective of Rosalie.
Of what he heard in her mind.
I don't think that I don't remember reading that.
Well, let's remember we're talking about his sister.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, his sister.
Technically, wouldn't it be his cousin? Because they said that Emmett...
It still matters.
I know, but Emmett, Edward, and Alice were adopted, and Jasper and Rosalie are Esme's nieces and nephew. Which, by the way, I did find, since we were talking, it's very obvious and very well known that Stephenie Meyer is a Mormon or an ex-Mormon or is somehow connected to Mormons. But Hale is the name of Joseph Smith's first wife.
Shut the fuck up.
Yep. Emma Hale.
And the fact that Carlisle Cullen looks like the 80s version of Joseph Smith is also kind of interesting. 80s, 90s version.
Yeah.
It's definitely, she would probably say like it wasn't intentional, but even if it wasn't, the influence is there. Anyways, I like Rosalie, and I don't blame her for being pissed about it, because I think it sucks to move around all the time, and she's finally happy, and she says in the book that she's like, it's gloomy here. We don't have to hide. We don't have to like keep out of things. We can participate in the world. I like being here, and I don't want you to ruin it for me. And I also agree with her there.
I get that.
Because he's a blabbermouth. He is a total fucking blabbermouth. And Rosalie probably knows that. I mean, my God. Yeah, if I were her, I would have just gone ahead and like pushed Bella off a cliff.
I get that. But also, she's got Emmett. Edward's got nobody. And Carlisle is right when he points out that if you decide that this person's life isn't worth anything because it needs to be extinguished in order to protect myself, where do you draw the line next?
Well,
it's a gateway
but here's
kill.
The thing. Rosalie knows that he needs to be taught a lesson. And perhaps a Bella kebab on a tree will teach him that the next person that is sweet blood, he will be like...
Sweet blood.
Okay, maybe from others.
Yeah.
Which I'm still...
Are you saying that Bella's diabetic and her blood is like full of sugar and that's why she smells so good?
Yes, she is like a Rolo. Yes.
A Rolo. One of the best parts about this conversation, I don't know if you remember, Brittany, But Emmett is like, just kill her and get it over with.
Just get off.
He's like, what's one human? I already killed 2 of the singers that I came across.
It's fine. And then he plays that memory for Edward.
Yeah. And he's like, remember? And then Edward's like, I don't want to see this. I can't. This is barbaric. You know what I mean? Like, kind of thing. And Emmett's like,
I'm already having enough trouble with my control, but out. And then the entire time, Emmett's like continuously sending him the thought of, you're crazy. You're so just fucking get it over with, dude.
Love him. Okay, back to our book. Back so that we can get back to the topic at hand. So, like I said, Bella continues to dream about Edward. At this point, they're both kind of obsessed. And she gets asked to the girls' dance by multiple boys, even though it's girls' choice.
Can I just say real quick that it is totally appropriate that it is absolutely storming right now at my house?
Just like Forks, I guess.
Yeah.
But isn't it crazy that all of those boys come and ask her, and she's like, it's supposed to be girls' choice?
Oh, yeah. And, well, first of all, she doesn't think of herself as very pretty, of course.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
In Midnight Sun, when Edward first sees her, he's like, she's nothing remarkable.
He's like, she's all right, I guess.
So,
but she's new. And in a town like Forks, you don't have much that's new. So it's like a shiny new toy.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And then for Mike, this is what really pissed me off about Mike, was him sitting there going, so, Jessica asked me out. And she's like, yeah, I know. You should go out with her. And he's like, but aren't you gonna ask me out?
Yeah. That's not very golden retriever-y of you, Mike, actually.
No, that's very shitty of you. And Eric,
wasn't it?
And Tyler.
Oh, I mean, that's the same. But wasn't it Eric that... Oh, no, it was Tyler.
Both of
them. That was like, well, I knew you were going out of town, but I thought you just said it to get out of it or something. And I was like, what an asshole.
Well, he wasn't wrong, but also I'm surprised he thought he was the exception.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The audacity of men.
I just thought you were letting Mike down easy. And the fact that I wonder if Edward would have asked her to the dance, would she have said yes?
I feel like, probably not. I don't know.
I agree. I think at this point she's like, no.
Yeah. She says that she doesn't dance.
Which, I don't blame her. I'm right there with her. I do not dance. I've tried to dance. It does not turn out at all very appealing.
Well, unfortunately for her, Edward thinks it's really fucking funny that she keeps getting stuck in this situation.
I found it very funny. The fact that he put his car out there to make sure that Tyler got his chance.
The fact that he stops his car in front of her. His shiny Volvo, by the way, which, what a dick car, okay? And the fact that he just stops there and he's like laughing in the rear view mirror and she sees him laughing and she's like, I swear he heard all of that. Like, she knows something's going on.
Why doesn't she just pound into his car? Because hers would be perfectly fine.
She wants to. She's like, I could just bump it. It's fine. My insurance won't go up, right?
Something that kind of surprises me is that in between all of this angst and her being like, God, he's so annoying, she's thinking to herself, of course Edward didn't ask me. I'm not interesting. He's interesting and brilliant and mysterious
and perfect. Oh my God,
the beautiful
amount of times she describes him in his perfect face.
Yeah.
I just want to
and
slap
possibly
her every
able
time.
to lift full-sized vans with one hand. And yet, after everything, she comes and she kind of confronts him again, and he continues to say, you're so unobservant.
You're so absurd.
He's messing with her. You're absurd.
Which,
I mean, how ridiculous.
I will say this.
You're so absurd, but will you come with me to Seattle? Sorry.
I will say this for Midnight Sun. He says that both of those are supposed to be kind of like a joke because he says, I said that you're so exceptionally unobservant because, but she sees everything. And the absurd comment is not a joke. He actually believes that because he's like, I've been doing everything in my power to keep you alive and you think I want you dead?
Yeah, and he gets kind of mad at her for a second.
One part that I started to get really incensed about is when she's with her dad and she's telling him she's going. I thought she said she was going to Arizona and he was going to let her drive from Washington to Arizona. And I was like, what the fuck? She's in high school. And then I realized she said Seattle. I was like, okay, never mind.
Yeah, I'm assuming, I don't know how long of a drive that is, but I'm assuming it's like me going downtown.
It's like an hour away.
Well, to go through the different, I know what did she list? Olympia and then somewhere else. So no, it's probably several hours at least.
Well, I think she
to get
said
to
that
Seattle.
She would stop at those places for gas.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I could have sworn that she said it was an hour or two away. I might have made that up and read that somewhere else. I don't know.
Yeah, because if she's going through Olympia and then there's one other place that she mentions that's at least an hour from Seattle.
Tacoma, I think.
Tacoma. Yeah, Tacoma.
Just kidding. From Seattle to Forks, it's a 3.5 hour drive.
Dang.
Yeah. It's so much farther than I thought.
That's like to Atlanta, almost.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I was like.
That's a long trip by yourself.
Yeah.
It's crazy for a kid. All right.
But yeah, that seems like an awfully long drive for somebody her age in a truck that is
I would never.
Old.
Yeah. And I do gotta say though, I love the way she's like, I'm not asking. Can't set a dangerous precedent.
I mean, fair enough, but also I can't believe Charlie allowed that. My dad would never allow me to do that in high school.
No.
Yeah,
I would
probably not in high
kid.
school.
I don't care how safe it seems. Yeah. The scene is funny though, where he's kind of like telling her she's absurd, but they're kind of jabbing back at each other. It's very good banter because he mentions how her truck probably can't make it and he's messing with her, but he also is probably kind of right.
Yeah.
Girl, you sure?
Yeah.
You sure you want to take that car?
Who knows if it has air conditioning, heating, whatever you need.
Probably none of those things. It's like 50 years old when she gets it, so.
About the dance thing, I do gotta say I love that she plays matchmaker when Jessica calls her and is like, he said yes! And she's like, yeah, why don't you, talk, what's her name?
Angela.
Why don't you talk Angela into asking out Eric and maybe Lauren could, Tyler, get them off my back.
Yeah, and honestly, that was the smartest answer. I don't know why Angela and Lauren didn't decide to do that.
Maybe they had their eyes on other men.
Maybe. In the meantime, Mike has been planning a trip to La Push with all of the friend group, that being everyone except for Edward, of course, because he hates Edward.
He's not part of the friend group.
And at the same time, that day at lunch, Edward calls Bella over in the most conspicuous way.
He does not call her over.
He's like, come
he
here.
sits there and stares in a weird way that says, hi, I'm a vampire.
He also winks
beckons her.
Yes. And he also winks at her like a weirdo. Like, what are you, 80?
He beckons her at, no, he's 100. He beckons her. Come, darling, come.
Yeah.
I picture it more of like, as he's sitting there at the table.
And this is the famous conversation where he's like, what are your guesses? And
what do you think I am?
Radioactive spider bite?
Way to go from DC to Marvel. And then, okay, so there is a section in Midnight Sun where she defends Eric for wanting to go to Comic-Con. And all their friends are like, that sounds stupid. And she's like, oh, that sounds cool. Which I think that sounds cool. But
it is cool.
Also, she doesn't know a damn thing about Comic-Con. And I'm just like, you're mixing up your superheroes there, sweetie.
Yeah. And that's only in Midnight Sun. But what's interesting about that is So in Twilight, she mentions Bruce Wayne and Peter Parker. And then in Midnight Sun, she also talks about Comic-Con and all this. I think in the illustrated guide, Stephanie Meyer says that she's always considered them more, the vampires that she created, more of superheroes as opposed to the horror genre vampires, which first and foremost, that's problematic for me because it's like, you might as well have just made superheroes, but I get it. You wanted the forbidden desire of it all, the forbiddenness, right?
Well, the Bible doesn't say, I mean, she could have made them people with powers, but then they wouldn't live forever and they would be considered witches. And the Bible is very explicit about what happens to witches.
Well, I mean, I think, right, but what I was gonna say is it makes sense that she saw them as superheroes because she gave them all these weird superpowers. They have super strength and mind reading and precognition. And so I was like, why not just make them superheroes? And your answer is because that doesn't work well with the Bible, which also they don't. Okay, Stephanie Meyer is a Mormon. She doesn't quite just read the Bible. She reads the
Book of Mormon.
Yeah, the Book of Mormon, which is different and has different things in it. I mean, before you even open the cover, she's telling us this is going to be a story about forbidden desire and romance and all of these things. But I think that she couldn't do superheroes because that's too straightforward, right?
Yeah, there's nothing really forbidden about having a romance with a superhero. Now,
I guess not.
Necrophilia, on the other hand.
Oh my God. Jesus
Fucking
Christ.
hell. Damn. The fuck? Well, I don't know. They keep saying crack open a cold one. So, and they keep calling them cold ones.
They are. They're dead. They've been dead canonically, they are stone cold. They are like marble-like corpses that...
They're little morgsicles.
Yeah, but nothing about him... It's funny because nothing about him should be inviting.
Which I found funny because in that first scene...
Is his dick going into her freezing?
Do what?
Yes. Yes, but we'll talk more about that in Breaking It Dawn. Is his dick going in freezing?
Yes, it is.
That's like a popsicle. That's cold.
Yeah, his tongue is also described as really cold.
And his lips are hard. It's like kissing marble.
Yeah.
Well, that is not... No. Just no.
And when they cuddle, she has to have a blanket in between them because he's so cold. And we thought this was the best thing for a while there.
Wow.
Anyways.
Sorry, I just want to clarify.
I mean, how does a vampire have a cold shower?
He doesn't.
I know, but during that first scene with Bella, he gets so turned on, like murderously turned on, that he then goes to Alaska for a cold shower.
He leaves the state and hides in the snow, by the way.
For a cold shower!
Yeah, hides in the snow, by the way. But I love I just love how snarky Bella is, even though she's clearly nervous about guessing wrong in this conversation. And she's hesitant to give him her ideas of what it could be. And he manipulates her in this moment. And he's like, come on, tell me. And so she gives him her thoughts. And then he's like, he delivers the classic line, what if I'm not the superhero? What if I'm the bad guy?
Oh my God.
What was me? Can I be more emo? I don't have a soul, Bella.
This had me cracking up. This whole fucking scene of like, no closer, no colder. He is so desperate to fucking tell her. It is ridiculous. And you sit there and you like, how did you survive this long? Because blatantly. And then he goes, I'm dangerous. But I'm dangerous.
That's what I was about to say.
But I'm dangerous. No,
I can't stay away from you. But you should stay away from me.
Dangerous, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to continue to stalk you. But just so you know, I'm dangerous. And I might hurt you. And you should be afraid of me.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not going to keep myself away from you anymore.
But also, do you want to be in the car with me by yourself and go to Seattle?
Yeah, exactly.
Stephanie Meyer did say that the only reason she created Jacob in the first place was so that Jacob could tell Bella that he's a vampire, because he would never be able to do it on his own.
Which I have a whole fucking rant about that. I'm so glad you brought that up, because I've been saying that all weekend. And obviously we can discuss this further once we get more of Jacob. But him being my favorite and Stephanie Meyer having the problem that she has with anyone who is darker than a little tan, I feel like the fact that she continues to write him off as an afterthought, even though now he's a major part of her series, her telling people, oh yeah, Jacob was never supposed to be a main character. I get it, but it's such a disservice. I feel like the way she treats the Quiute tribe and the way she treats Jacob, even as characters, is like so shitty.
Yeah.
Like she profited off of their tribe and their culture and their stories, and yet she continues to walk around and be like, yeah, actually Jacob was an afterthought.
Yeah, and a lot of people do think that the potential anniversary book release, if we're getting a book release, will be Jacob and the little monster.
No.
Yeah.
No.
So
I'm nervous.
he's going to be main character now.
Oof.
Yeah.
So, okay. One correction.
What's up?
If you're saying that she was using Jacob because Edward would never tell her he's a vampire, no. Give him like 5 more minutes in the cafeteria and he would tell her.
She said that he was too ashamed to actually say the words.
She stands
he
by
was
this.
not. He was not. He was
He would hint at it.
5 minutes, 5 more minutes, and he would have told her.
He was
But
giggling.
what's up with the secrets with these people? Because my God, even for Jacob, 2 seconds in, and he's like, "I'm not supposed to tell you this, but."
Oh yeah, love that he breaks the
not just
treaty.
that, but laying it out like a fucking vampire. I mean, it wasn't even like, oh, so and so's diddling their wife. It was like, oh, they're vampires.
Oh my God,
they're scary beings, and there is no sense of. Do you think I'm nuts?
Well, he does try to play it off like it's a story, like it's not true. Yeah. And he's like, oh, I guess I broke the treaty. Oops.
He does, but then he says that they don't go to the doctor. Like, he actually provides legit backup that they believe this. And he keeps calling them cold ones. You gotta fucking stop doing that, because what I'm thinking of is like crazy people that do like, you know, the morgue sickles. Like, no, you gotta stop calling them cold ones, because you know what it makes me think of?
Dead.
Did you ever watch Sons of Anarchy?
No.
Yeah, I did.
Okay. You know Tig with the crack open a cold one because he likes to sleep with dead bodies?
Yeah. Oh, he's such a great character. Oh.
I love that actor too.
Yeah, they're great. Mm-hmm. It's a great show. Anyway.
Yeah.
I've been trying to get Johan to watch it, actually. But yeah, so it's funny that you guys say that they're really bad at keeping secrets, because Edward, this whole fucking scene is like, so what are your guesses? But after that, he tells her, okay, well, I'm skipping class today and I'll see you later, you know, for our trip.
Sometimes it's like, good to skip a class. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And she's
again,
like,
with the absences.
I'm going to class. And she goes to class and almost nearly immediately faints from their blood typing project.
Okay, first of all, as a diabetic, I deal with lancets every day. We don't take those things and jab them into our fingers anymore. There are devices where you hit a button, and that bothered me.
This was 2005, and Stephanie Meyer doesn't know any of that.
I was about to say, I mean, the lancets that we used existed back then, but the stabbing of the fingers, I just didn't. Also, when you do stab your finger, if you use one of, like, I don't know how it is with the whole jabbing thing, but literally it stops bleeding almost immediately.
Well, 1 droplet was enough for Bella to fall out in the middle of the classroom.
I know, but she was like, keep your hand in your pocket.
Yeah.
I kept wondering about that. Yeah.
Like, shouldn't it be, if it is still bleeding, shouldn't it be bandaged?
Yeah, right? Like, why didn't they put a Band-Aid on it or something? And you'd think they have that readily available for the project. But
also, love that the teacher practiced on Mike and then chose him to take Bella to the nurse after she fainted from him bleeding.
Well, I think Mike offered.
He did, but as a teacher, I'm like,
yeah,
no, let's send her to the nurse with somebody who isn't actively causing her to faint.
Who isn't actively bleeding? Yeah.
But that might be the teacher's only form of entertainment.
Christy's like, I would have done it. Mike is thrilled to take her to the nurse's office, but he's kind of walking her, like hand over his shoulder kind of thing. And then Bella's like, let me just take a little break, and like sits down in the parking lot because she's like, I don't feel good.
This cold cement is wonderful.
Yes, she loves cold things, right? Even though she says she hates them. And Edward comes out and he's like, what are you doing? Oh my God, we have to take her to the nurse. And takes over, and Mike is so blown.
He's like pissed.
Oh.
Quick question. Because she tells him to keep his hands in his pockets, but he's helping her. How does that work?
Yeah.
Good question.
Yeah. Not helpful.
This is why the bleeding person shouldn't have gone with the person who faints by seeing blood.
That was what I kept going through when I was trying to read the scene. It's like the logistics of him keeping his hands in his pockets and helping her at the same time. I mean, he would have to like do it around her and then.
So Edward sees them and he's like, where do you think you're going? And scoops her up, which I'm like, okay, pushy much. And then he takes her to the nurse's office where he can't help but laugh. He thinks it's fucking hilarious that she faints at the sight of blood because he's a vampire, right? How ironic.
And at this point, Alice has already shared with him that she's either destined to die or become a vampire.
Yep, with him. And he also manages to talk his way into getting her off for the rest of the day so that he can drive her home.
Yeah, I would have totally been like, yeah, get me out of gym. I don't want to, especially if I was her.
For real. And it's with Mike. So it's like, ugh.
Yeah. Ugh. Can I just say, for her English class, I think they're reading Wuthering Heights and Macbeth and the whole classical literature, and he listens to classical music. That is not something I am interested in. I know that there's some parallels between like Pride and Prejudice and this book.
Intentionally.
Yes. And I like that. I
definitely think she liked Mr. Darcy and intended to make Edward Cullen Darcy-esque in a lot of ways. But
yeah, there's a lot of comparisons between the books that she is reading and her actual story. And I do like that aspect of it. I wish she would read a smutty book, honestly.
I think what kills me about Stephenie Meyer's writing is that her sense of superiority over the rest of the world that doesn't read Pride and Prejudice, the women that wear makeup, because she's always describing how Bella is perfect without makeup, and that's what makes her interesting.
She puts her face to the sky, and why is she doing that? Because she doesn't wear makeup, and no normal girl would do that if they had makeup.
And she just thinks that Bella is this interesting person, and Edward thinks she's interesting because she listens to classical music and reads classical literature. And it's just like, okay, I am not lesser than you because I wear makeup and I enjoy it. You know what I mean? Infuriating.
Yeah, I was never a fan of classical literature. I read Pride and Prejudice. I like Pride and Prejudice. Not a fan of pretty much any of the rest of it.
I like some classical literature, but I don't think that someone who likes it and enjoys it is better than me because that is all that they read or listen to.
I mean, we had a coworker before who loved to read smutty romances, but she wouldn't do it in public because she was ashamed of it, and you should never feel ashamed of what you read.
Especially of what you read, I think. We always felt like, why would anyone censor books?
Yeah.
Books are meant to be enjoyed. And if you like classic literature, great. If you like smut, great. If you like sci-fi, awesome.
If you like shitty YA, go for it.
Amazing.
If you like wonderful YA too, go for it.
Yeah, we like shitty YA too, apparently. So another thing that I wanted to point out from the books is at some point Bella says, a questionable character would be someone with multiple facial piercings and tattoos, which obviously this was a different time, 2005, but how dare you, Bella? I am a nice person.
I don't have tattoos and multiple piercings, but I always wanted them.
We can make that happen.
Too bad I'm afraid of needles. It sucks to be diabetic.
Well, I think in my life, I have always found that those that looked that way, that had tattoos, piercings, even the rougher look, those usually were the people that you could count on that would be there for you, that would do the right thing. And it was always the people that dressed nicely, that looked nice and perfect, that would screw you over in a heartbeat.
Oh, yeah.
And were truly just evil people. I feel like your outside usually reflects the opposite of what the inside is.
Not that even having tattoos and multiple piercings makes you look bad. Like my dad, every time he sees it on TV, he's like, get that thing out of your nose. And I'm like, why? It looks good. I love it.
I forget that I haven't met your dad and that he would hate me.
He wouldn't hate you. He would just judge you really harshly.
Yeah. Judge the shit out of me. Hey, when I first got mine pierced, my grandmother looked at me like, oh my God, what did you do to your face?
But going back to the story, they do end up going to La Push, First Beach. Yeah. Mike is super relieved that the Cullens didn't show up. And I love that you saw this, and it was before I got to it, so I don't know if I would have saw it or not, but I love that you pointed out that Jacob is a Native American character who is a shifter who also is looking for a VW part for a rabbit.
Which I immediately was like, you gotta be kidding me. Mercy Thompson would be so shocked to meet Jacob. Like,
yeah. I wrote in the notes, I was like, I know where you can get one. You just need to drive to the Tri-Cities and go to Mercy's garage.
Far. Yeah. But I was so happy that we at least included this chapter in the section because Jacob is one of my favorite characters up until he is assassinated in the third and fourth books. And I really loved him for a long time. And I think that this is a good introduction for him.
It blew my mind that he's 15 in this chapter. I was like, wait a minute. He's 2 years younger? I thought they were like at the same age, maybe a year younger, but not 2. Not that 2 years really is that big of a difference, but...
Well, 15 and 17 sounds like, oh my God, he's a child.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kind of along that same line with reading this, there's a lot I forgot about this book. And don't get me wrong, I definitely have like a little bit of a snarky take on it, but I actually felt a little more connected to Bella than I thought I would. So I was kind of surprised about that on this reread.
I think that's the surprising thing about Twilight is it's shockingly easy to connect to Bella. I think something about her leaps out of the page in a way that you would never expect, especially if you haven't read it in a long time, especially if you've only seen the movies. I feel like something about book Bella is much better than people give her credit for. Yeah, I mean, I still like the movies, but I think that it's totally different. It's a different experience.
Also, can we talk about how Mike finds her on the beach with Jacob and he's like, oh, another rival.
Yeah. He's like, who's this? God. Oh my God.
This is boy number 5 that is interested in her.
Yeah. And I think maybe the reason that you probably forgot that he's 15 is because in the next book, he grows exponentially. He is described as being to look like a man. Like he's got muscles and, you know, all this stuff happens to him in the next book. So we forget that he's still really young. Why are you laughing?
Well,
oh my gosh.
Well, remember when the movie came out and they were going to replace the guy that played Jacob because he wasn't big enough?
Yeah.
Which is really shitty because would they have done that with the main characters? Well, he really is a main character, but the other ones? But he was replaceable?
Yeah, poor Taylor Lautner went through a lot to keep these roles, and I think he should never have had to gone through what he did. I loved him.
I think replacing an actor mid-movie is jarring, and there are very few movies like Iron Man that can pull it off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I noticed that they replaced Rhodey in that movie from 1 to 2, but I didn't really care. But I think it would have been obvious and would care if they would have replaced Taylor Lautner in the Twilight movies.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. I wanted to close it by talking a little bit more about the Quiute tribe. I mentioned a little bit earlier, but I did want to say that one of the things about the Quiutes that I think should be noted is that they do have their own stories that are not the same as in Twilight, and that Stephenie Meyer, kind of has profited in a way off of their culture. And I wanted to say that they have a tradition that their ancestors transform into wolves, but most of the descriptions in the novels are not accurate to their traditions. And they have described this as cultural theft.
I need to know, though, do they have a tribal law that says you can't kill wolves?
I don't know.
I hope that's true.
I would hope so. I mean, I would think it's just like a regular law in the area.
Yeah. Yeah.
True,
I think there's a respect for nature that you don't
Yeah.
see in most other areas.
Yeah. And I do want to say that as we continue to talk about it, you know, I don't like how she writes Native Americans into the book, but, you know, I won't harp on it. I just wanted to make it known that we do not approve.
We don't.
Nope.
Oh. You know, Sarah, I almost said Sarah Michelle Gellar, which that is not her name. Sarah Gallagher has said in her book, Why We Love and Hate Twilight, that if Twilight came out today, it would be canceled for a lot of reasons immediately. And while I do agree with that, I think another point that she made that is fascinating is that Twilight is one of those fandoms, one of the only fandoms that can talk about the problems with the media that they love in a healthy way and continue to love them while still criticizing them and recognizing the toxicity and problems of them. So that's what I hope we can continue to do in our podcast, because there's some serious problems here. Hold on to your boots,
your buckets.
This is just the beginning.
Oh wait, what's my new saying?
Bucket.
Buckle up, this shit's gonna have nuts in it.
Oh my god.
Damn, now I need to make that a new shirt.
This shit's gonna have nuts in it is crazy.
I saw it on, I think it was Threads, and I was like,
gosh.
This is my new saying. That is so fantastic.
Anything else we want to gush about before we finish the episode?
Lauren's a bitch.
Oh yeah.
Lauren is. However, part of me wonders if Stephenie Meyer just doesn't like blondes, because all of the blonde women that she writes are awful. So that's why I want to defend Rosalie.
What's that test where, like, if a girl talks to another girl and it isn't about a man, then it passes the test? This book does not pass that test.
Agreed, yeah. I forget what it's called.
The BECHDEL test.
I think I've seen that before. The Bechdel or the Bechdel test. It's a measure used to assess the representation of women in fiction.
And this book does not pass it.
Yeah.
There's very few
Wallace test
books that do.
The Bechdel-Wallace test is a measure of female representation in fiction. To pass the test, a film must meet 3 criteria. It needs to feature 2 named female characters who talk to each other about something other than a man. And it was created by a cartoonist, Alison Bechdel. I hope I'm saying her name right. And her friend Liz Wallace in 1985. And it's just one way to see if what you're consuming is feminist-leaning.
Which is funny, considering Stephenie Meyer considers herself a feminist.
Really?
Hilarious.
How? I need an example.
Me as well, Christy.
She thinks that Bella is a strong female character, and to be fair, I believe, feminism is about making sure that women are equal to men, so it's giving them the choice to be submissive or
more
dominant. in their personalities.
I mean, Bella does fight back against Edward. I mean, she's like, I'm not going to take your bullshit.
She does. She does. And she does make her choices in the book.
Yeah.
But doesn't he save her a lot?
Oh, right. So
she makes choices. They're bad choices, and then he fixes them.
She also saves him, if you want to look at it that way. When she
she
goes to Italy and jumps on him so that he doesn't expose himself, he was going to commit suicide.
The thing that cracked me up this whole time was just reading Christy go, who the fuck is Eric?
I did not remember his character at all.
So the one thing... Oh, go ahead.
We talked about, keeping track of the timeline. She starts school on January 18th. I believe the car accident happens on January 26th. And then now at the end of the book, this La Push visit is in March. I have to see if there's a date for it, but we're in March. Yay.
Okay. All right. We'll try to keep track of this.
And they've literally spent all of 3 days being nice to each other, maybe?
Yeah. The main interactions are that first awful day in biology class where he looks like he's going to take a shit.
Or murder her.
Or both.
The van incident, the car crash incident, and then I guess maybe you could count the conversation in the cafeteria.
The ragdoll leg flinging incident, yes.
Yeah. And then the blood typing incident.
Which the cafeteria and the blood typing happened on the same day, so.
Yeah, so.
3 days.
3 major events. Yeah.
Great funny scenes.
I can't wait till we get more characters because my favorite characters are not on the page yet besides Jacob, so I'm excited.
Lots to look forward to.
All right. We hope that you enjoyed this week's episode and that you will join us for next week's episode. We'll be discussing Twilight chapters 7 through 12. New episodes drop every week, and don't forget to check out last season's discussion on the Empyrean series available now.
We want to give a shout out to our newest Patreon member at NG. Thank you so much for your support and for listening to us.
Please remember to like, subscribe, and follow us on social media. That like and follow are super important for us to continue to bring you new episodes each week. So please, please, please do so. You can also support us by joining us on Patreon. Thank you for listening to the Midnight Readers podcast. We'll see you next week.
Happy reading, listeners. Don't stay up too late.